Okay, everyone. Good morning. This is Karl F. Rose, recording from Bedford, Pennsylvania on Saturday, February 27th, 2018. I've got a pretty bad internet output, so I had to set my settings real low. Let me go back into I'm looking at my OBS. Let me go to my YouTube. Okay. Yeah. I'm getting some buffering. Okay. We're just going to go with it. Anyway, well, let me just get into it. I don't need to go into all the technical stuff. I'm at my actually, let me see if I can drop down my live chat here. Okay, there we're going to go. Okay. Yeah, okay. I have the live chat in there in case you jump in here on YouTube in my dashboard. It's not on the screen, even though you're looking at video text chat. But I am getting buffering. Anyway, I'll just, this is the best that I can do with it. I've only got like about 0.6 of output settings. So we're just going to have to go with that. Let me transition here and let's get into it. This video's about dystonia, and let me just I finally got my browser source fixed with this. Let me go into this. Oops. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I want to go back into my YouTube and see what we have. Yeah, okay, good. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right. We're just going here. Okay. We're just going to go with the what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the website itself. But first of all, let me give you an introduction into. I've had dystonia for 29 years. I was diagnosed, or the symptoms started in 1989, and but it took about 2 years. I was lucky. It only took 2 years to finally get a correct diagnosis. I was diagnosed. Finally got the correct diagnosis in 1991, and eventually by the time 1995 came around, I was ruled completely disabled and knocked out of the workforce, and life has been hell ever since. And it's just that's just the way it is. Dystonia is a horrible disease. What dystonia is, it's involuntary muscle movements. You have no control over it. There is no known cause and there's no known cure. There's only treatments. I used to get botulism toxin injections in my head and neck area because I have cervical dystonia. We'll get into that in a minute, but that involves head and neck muscles, and that's what I deal with. But I'll explain the different forms of dystonia here in a minute. And I do have links to the Dystonia Medical Research Foundation, DMRF, and if you want to send any support or donations to that group, that would be greatly appreciated. I'm not affiliated with the group or anything like that. I get their newsletters and stuff, and but I used to get Botox injections, but in 2009, my co-payments went up to an amount that I could no longer afford. So I just to get by with my muscle spasms. It's just with clonazepam, and then I take amitriptyline to offset the side effects of the clonazepam, and that's just the way it goes. Okay, that was basically another thing I want to say before I get into the things. Some of the things I've experienced. I mean, society is such a mess, but in the beginning, basically I pretty much stay most of the time inside, and I get out with my camera every now and then, but because I need to do stuff, I do still work, but to give you an idea how pathetic society is, I've had incidences where people have thrown rocks at me, spit at me. Even in a grocery store, at one point in time, somebody has on purpose shoved a shopping cart right into the back of my legs. I was harassed by a bunch of kids one time. I was walking by, and they found out the hard way that I've got USMC. I may have all these things, but I still remember it. But I have USMC self-defense training. Anyway, one of the incidents, group of kids, well, they had to learn the lesson the hard way when they thought they were smart until I had to break one of the kids' arms. Then they scattered, and I went about my business. That's what you do. It's just sad that people have to do that sort of thing. But hey, I got to defend myself, and I will defend myself. And I'll do it again if I have to. Okay, let's get on with the forms of dystonia here, and let me just click over here, and yeah, let's go to, all right, okay, we'll just, okay, yeah, I'm just going to the website here, because I can't really scroll on my OBS. I have the browser source, but we'll go into the forms here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're going to go into, oops. Okay. Let's see. What is dystonia? Okay. Now, first of all, we're going to go into the symptoms and diagnosis. Let's go that, and I'm going to I'm going to go into, let me go into, okay, here we're looking at the home page. Let me transition to the symptoms and diagnosis, and okay, all right, where are we at? Oh, oops. Yeah, systems, okay, we're gonna undo this, and we're gonna transition that. There we are. Symptoms and diagnosis. Okay. Start with this. Okay. Basically, dystonia is a life-changing. It's not life-threatening, but it does change your life. Anyway, and the age at which symptoms started, I fit right in the classic, because it hit right around 30. It says here, the age at which symptoms begin is referred to as age of onset. If an individual develops symptoms prior to approximately age 30, it may be referred to as early onset or childhood onset. But I was right around 30 when it happened. And then it says if dystonia occurs during the teen years, the teen adolescent onset may be used, the term adolescent. Basically, it says how the body is affected. When dystonia affects one part of the body, it's called focal dystonia. Segmental dystonia affects two or more connected areas, for example, the neck, shoulder, arm. If two or more areas in different parts of the body are affected, then dystonia is termed multifocal. For example, the eyes and the vocal cords. Some people have uncontrollable blinking, and some people have a really strange sounding voice. We'll get into those when I go down to the list. And then generalized dystonia, that's really bad. People usually are in wheelchairs if they have that. Generalized dystonia refers to dystonia that may affect the limbs, trunk, or other major body areas simultaneously. The term axial dystonia describes dystonia that specifically affects the torso. When dystonia affects muscles on one side, it's called hemidystonia. Certain dystonias are labeled task-specific, which means the symptoms occur only when the person's performing a specific task or movement. These often involve the fingers, hands, or mouth. If the symptoms occur in episodes, they last for minutes or hours. The terms paramyxal or dystonia, a term I can't even pronounce, are used. Okay, there's a whole lot of things on here. It's on the website. I have the links in the website. Let's go to the different forms of dystonia. We're going to go to that. Oops. Let me get off of this and go to forms of dystonia. Oops. Forms of dystonia. Oh, got it. Okay. I got it. Okay. Now we're going to go to forms of dystonia, and okay, let me get back to the site here. Okay. There we go. Yeah, this is. I'm going to see how. Yeah. Yeah, this is just. I got my settings so bad, everything's all blurry, but this is the best I can do as far as I'm going to probably be live streaming from my mobile device in the future, but I'm just trying to learn my OBS, and I just have really lousy internet. Anyway, back to this again. Yeah, there are a lot of types of dystonia, so I'm just going to go over that real fast here. Dystonia is classified by clinical characters such as age of onset, body distribution, nature of the symptoms, etc., associated features, additional movement disorders, or neurological symptoms. Cause includes changes or damage to the nervous system and inheritance. Doctors use these classifications to guide diagnosis and treatment. Okay, here's the forms. There's about 15 of them or so. I'm going to go through this list, then I'm going to wind down and then yeah, this end the video. But anyway, for those of you who are watching this, let me just say, if you like this kind of video, please be sure to go into the description and hit the subscribe button, and on my channel hit the bell notification to get updates. I do a number of things, but I'm going to be doing more about dystonia, maybe not live, but I'll be doing other videos on that on this, and I also have links to other things that I do and that sort of thing. So yeah, if you like what you see here, go ahead and be sure to click on those links and the bell notification so you can be notified of any of my videos, whether they're dystonia related or other videos. Okay, let me get back to the forms. Okay. Anyway, First one, let's start here with blepharospasm, as dystonia that affects the muscles of the eyelids. Again, you see people blink a lot and stuff, they more than likely have that. Then we got cervical dystonia. That's what I have. It's spasmodic torticollis. Dystonia that affects the neck and sometimes the shoulders. Yeah, when I was getting Botox injections, the bulk of the shots, I get a series of about 20 or so shots around the side of my neck here and into my trapezius muscle. It's not a lot of fun, but the treatments last for about 3 months, then you got to go around and do it again. But I can't afford the co-payments anymore. The ACA just increase the co-payments that I can't even get that treatment anymore. Then we got oromandibular dystonia, cranial dystonia. Some symptoms include forceful contractions of the face, jaw, and or tongue. Spasmodic dysphonia, that's of the vocal cords. You'll hear people with, they have a real hard time talking, difficult, you barely hear it, if you can hear them at all. Dystonia that affects the vocal cords. Hand dystonia, writer's cramp. Yes, writer's cramp is a form of dystonia. Dystonia of the fingers, hand, and or forearm. Lower limb dystonia, dystonia of the leg, foot, and or toes. Musicians' dystonias, task specific, again, fingers, if you're a drummer, if your legs are going all, this really messes up somebody. I mean, but there are musicians that are still practicing. I enjoy my photography. I do these videos. I go out and shoot videos, but it's when you're shaking and you're moving around all the time, it's really hard to take a still photograph when your body's moving around all over the place, but that's what I do. It's what I like to do. Anyway, musicians' dystonia, task specific. Generalized dystonia. Generalized dystonia is characterized by twisting of the limbs and torso. Dopa responsive dystonia, a group of dystonias that respond to medication called levodopa. Myoclonus dystonia, a hereditary form of dystonia that includes prominent myoclonus symptoms. Again, paroxysmal dystonias and episodic movement disorders in which abnormal movements occur only during attacks. X-linked dystonia, Parkinsonian, a hereditary form of dystonia that includes symptoms of Parkinsonism. Rapid onset dystonia, Parkinsonism, a hereditary form of dystonia that includes symptoms of Parkinsonism. Secondary dystonias, dystonias that is triggered by factors such as trauma, medication, exposure, or toxins. Trauma. Dystonia may follow trauma to the head and or a specific body area. Drug-induced. Pterodyve dystonia and I can't even pronounce it. Specific drugs are capable of causing dystonia. Toxins. Several rare toxins are known to cause movement disorders. Neurological and metabolic disorders. Dystonia can occur as a symptom of multiple disorders. Functional psychogenic dystonia. Dystonia that is secondary to a combination of neurological and psychiatric psychological causes. That really, in a nutshell, describes a lot of the dystonias. Again, I have the links in the description below. Let me just get off of here real quick and finish up with that. Anyway, I just want to finish up with this. And if you like this and you want more information, be sure to check those links. And also, I plan to be doing, as I said earlier, I plan to do other videos on this. If you want more information, or you want me to do videos, more related videos on this, I will be glad to do that. Just leave the comments in the leave a comment in the comment section below with a suggestion of what you want to see, and I will be sure to do some research and get into all that. Well, that's about it for this stream. It's almost lunchtime anyway, so I need to get something to eat before I have diabetic problems. I have diabetes too. So I'm going to end on that. Have a good day. Again, please feel free to leave any comments, suggestions, like, unlike, whatever, and subscribe. And I will, if you have any suggestions, I will do what I can to get to it as quickly as possible. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and we will see you on my next video that I plan to do during the